Hello, everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. I hope you're all doing very, very well. Welcome back to another live show, another morning show. We're back in the groove. Would have been great if I was this active in January, but you can't have it all in life, can you? So, listen, big up to everyone. Hope you're having a good Friday. Today, we're going to be talking about all of the latest Chelsea news and updates. We're going to be talking about still a couple of things regarding the transfer window, which need to be sort of smoothed out. On top of that, also, we're going to be talking about injury updates, and we're going to preview the Wolves game as well. So, as always, smash that like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel as well. And check out okjersey.com as well. You can get a nice, beautiful discount using the code CFTV for 8% off of everything. I mean, it's dirt cheap anyway, but you can get it cheaper regardless. That's another way that you can help support the channel. Anyway, we're going to start off with the news, and then we're going to move into the preview afterwards, okay? So that's the way we're going to look at this. If anyone has any questions or anything like that, just put it in the chat, and I will respond as much as I can. But the first piece of information that some of you may already have known a little bit about, but not everyone, is about Liverpool owing Chelsea 2.8 million. You're thinking, oh, what's that for? That 2.8 million is for the signing of Rio Ngumoha from Chelsea. Now, this is a youth player that we were really, really gutted to miss out on. And, well, we missed out. Let's just put it like that. Anyway, he actually has had an okay start to Liverpool. He scored a very, very good goal to win the game, if I'm not wrong, at the beginning of the season away at Newcastle. Hasn't necessarily had as many minutes as, other players, but still a very young player who's broken into the squad already and seems to be doing well. The question is, why is it only 2.8 million? And the answer is it could rise. So we could be seeing a further £4 million increase for the signing of Rio Unamoa from Chelsea to Liverpool. This was reported by David Ornstein. Okay, so we've got an article, to be fair, from The Athletic, which luckily I am subscribed to. And it's not a particularly, it's relatively long, but there's some good information in there. So as mentioned before, Liverpool must pay an initial fee worth £2.8 million, which could rise by a further £4 million for the signing of Rio Unamoa from Chelsea. Ngumoha moved to Anfield as a 16-year-old in September 2024. After leaving Chelsea's academy. That entitled the Stamford Bridge club to receive costs for the winger's training and development, with the amount being decided by a professional football compensation committee tribunal, which is called the PFCC. The settlement is non-negotiable, but bonuses can follow the fixed price if certain milestones are met. It was ruled that Liverpool will owe their Premier League rivals up to £6.8 million once performance-related contingencies have been included, plus 20% of the profit if he is sold. Those add-ons relate to senior appearances, contracts, and Ngumoha, who's now 17, achieving potential honours representing his country. And then you've got a little bit of analysis to give you an idea of, just give you a little bit more of an idea about everything going on. What they're actually saying is that this fee could prove to be a bargain. I mean, we'll find out, won't we? This is from Andy Jones. He says, there has been plenty of hope and expectations surrounding Ngumoha since his arrival at Anfield and an impressive pre-season where he scored 2 goals and provided 2 assists. And it saw the 16-year-old become impossible for head coach Arne Slot to ignore. The first sight Liverpool fans had of him was when he made his debut in the FA Cup third round against Accrington Stanley last season. The talent was obvious as he showed off his technical skills and dribbling qualities. Things got even better for the winger on his Premier League debut when he netted a 100th minute winner against Newcastle in the second game of the season. With Liverpool pegged from 2-0 up, there was huge pressure on the youngster when the ball fell to him inside the box. After a Szoboszlai dummy, his finish was excellent. Liverpool's decision not to replace Douglas Luiz, partly to avoid blocking Ngumoha's pathway, opened up the opportunity for first team minutes this season due to a lack of depth behind Cody Gakpo and Mohamed Salah. And so far, the England Youth International has made 13 appearances in all competitions, totaling 349 minutes. Liverpool have wanted to manage his time on the pitch to help rather than hinder his development. His impact has varied when he has playing time opportunities. Often he has been turned to when Liverpool are chasing a result, and Slot is keen to bring on more attacking players. Liverpool's season has been a disappointment, and it's likely Ngumoha would have been given more minutes if they had been in more commanding positions heading into the final 15 minutes of games. His most recent appearance in the final Champions League phase match against Carabao was an example. Liverpool were 5-0 up, and he was brought on after 67 minutes. So, yeah, a little bit of an update on Rio Unamoa there. And listen, I mean, I know this isn't the Liverpool show, but I'm a little bit disappointed, to be honest with you, that we've let go of this guy. I do feel like it's I always felt like it was a mistake, to be fair, because he's clearly very talented. He's good at what he does. And, you know, it's not like we got a massive fee anyway. We're trying to penny pinch with all of these other players that you buy for 30 and try and sell for 35 or 40 million. Like, that is fine, but eventually, you know, you'll have some talent and you want to hold on to it, don't you? So why not hold on to a talented youngster who can cause some problems? How many times have we been chasing games and not had a player like that to come on and find a solution or get a little bit more attacking depth? I mean, if I look at some of the lineups that we've had, and then I look at the bench, and you think, okay, well, if we were struggling, like, try and ignore the result, but if we were struggling, who would we have had to bring on? Arsenal's a good example. Okay, we had Palmer, Willian, Esteval, Willian, Garnacho. And then another attacking option could have been Mark Guiu and Shimura Mweka. I don't think it's a bad thing to have a little bit more excitement in the team, because this guy's already playing for Liverpool's first team. I know we hype up Mweka, but Mweka's not really getting any minutes for Chelsea. And maybe that's a mistake. Maybe we should be more trusting with our young players. But what I will say is that Liverpool have a serious talent on their hands, and we just handed them over. So yeah, absolutely, it could be a bargain. What if you've got a guy who plays for his country? They have to play Chelsea a little bit more money, an extra 4 million. It's like, well, if he's getting to the stage where he's playing for England, he's clearly doing well in the Premier League. And that makes us look bad because we sold him for peanuts. But again, he was 16 years old. So, I mean, we complain enough about us buying 16-year-olds. So I guess maybe we should even out and sell a few as well. Big up to Stranger in the Alps. Big up to you. Do they have American sizes? Absolutely. Yeah, they've got XL. They've got, I don't know if you meant it like that. But yeah, they've got all sizes. So my advice is just if it doesn't have an American size specifically, just compare it online and then you'll be able to see it. But there's plenty of people from America that use okjersey.com. Plenty of people there. I myself have got some stuff which I'm bringing in as well, so I'll be able to show it off. It should arrive hopefully in the next week or so. Big up to you, Daniel. Hope you're doing well. Big up to you, Stephen. Yes, we do need to beat Wolves. It's absolutely a must-win, Billy. I don't even understand why we preview some of these games in the way that we do, knowing that most of the time I feel like it's pretty obvious how we're going to start these games. I'll be honest with you. It seems to me, based on the Arsenal game, that we're taking the Wolves game relatively seriously. But that being said, there will be some rotation as well. I mean, if we're looking at Arsenal, a lot of the big players in there. To be fair, there was a few that weren't, but you had Caicedo, Enzo, Fofana, Cucurella, João Pedro, all playing 90 minutes. And then you had Palmer coming off the bench. Same with Esteval. And Garnacho obviously came off the bench as well. So we kind of know that we're not going to take too many risks. But at the same time, it does look like we're going to have some relatively strong players going into the game on Saturday. Just because some of them didn't have anything to say against Arsenal. Reece James being one, and I'm not sure what the updates are on Pedro Neto either. So we'll have to stay monitored on that particular situation as well. A little bit more as well in terms of injury updates. So we've had some news coming out from Football London on Dario Esugo playing a role in helping Giovanni Quenda to settle in to life as, well, I guess, as a Chelsea player. So apparently he actually does have something that he can do when he's on. Do you know what? I'll say big up to him. If you can't contribute on the pitch, then contribute off of it. Yeah, he's been in constant dialogue with Quenda over the last month or so to help him settle in a new country. He is set to be a part of the first team picture next season. He has also spoken with Liam Rosinya. It's a matter of weeks for Quenda to return to training following a metatarsal injury that has kept the soon-to-be Chelsea winger out of action over the past couple of months. Obviously, he was a very expensive transfer. You know, he was £40 million. And he's obviously had a chat with the manager as well. 18 years old, Quenda. Very, very young player as well. So, yes, we can be a little bit upset about the fact that we sold a very good talent in Rio Ngumoha, to Liverpool. But it's not like we're not bringing in interesting prospects ourselves. That being said, there's still a lot of young players, right? You want a bit more experience. Hasn't featured for Sporting since their derby match against Benfica on the 5th of December, and that's around the time he got injured. Quenda's been using Chelsea's training facilities in Cobham over the last month or so to undergo rehabilitation from a foot problem. The Portugal under-21 international underwent surgery on a 5th metatarsal fracture not too long after the injury, but is now close to returning to the pitch for Sporting. As far as Football London understands, over the next fortnight, Quenda is expected to begin on-field work and running again ahead of returning to the first team action in Portugal. His return to action will only happen after Chelsea's medical department, in coordination with Sporting's, gives the go-ahead. However, neither club are in too much of a hurry when it comes to Quenda returning, as they look to ensure the teenage winger makes a full recovery. Quenda himself is excited to return, with the Portuguese wonder kid aiming to leave the Jose Alvalade Stadium on a high note. Sporting are 4 points behind Liga Portugal leaders Porto, with Quenda hoping he can bow out as champion. He remains in the UK for the time being and has been using his time out to take English lessons and sort out some logistical matters in preparation for next season. Dario Esugo, his former Sporting teammate, has been in consistent dialogue with Quenda over the past month or so to help him settle into a new country. Quenda, who is set to be part of the first team picture next season, has also spoken with Liam Rosinya. And in a brief conversation, Quenda got to know his future head coach, who took over following Maresca last month. So that's the latest on Quenda there. Quenda, people are really excited about Quenda. I feel like the hype is similar to when we brought in Esteval. And that's always a positive, right? That's always a positive. But at the same time, I don't want to be leaning on these young players too much. You know, we had a conversation the other day, in fact, yesterday, if I'm not wrong. I was having a chat with Don and Jem. If you don't know them, they've got a good channel as well. And basically, it was all about what do Chelsea need in order to push for a Premier League. And the question was, Alex, like, when's your cutoff point? So when are you going to lose patience with these people? I mean, if we're being totally honest, I kind of already have lost patience. And I'm sick and tired of just shouting about it. But, you know, we're always going to try and look for some light at the end of the tunnel. And I don't want to sit here and be doom and gloom. It's depressing, isn't it? So let's try and break these things down in the best way possible. And there are just times where we're going to have a conversation about Chelsea. A little bit like Arsenal, I think. And you just go, we're just not good enough, right? We just don't have the quality to finish our chances, to bury moments where we have to be decisive. Yeah. I mean, and that's the reality, right? When you've got such a young squad, you are going to have to learn to deal with those moments. My big thing has just been, are we a little bit better? Have we improved? Yeah. And then people go, well, what is improvement? Is it improvement on the eye? Is it points? Is it league table finish? Is it domestic cups? Is it Champions League? How do you compare last season when the two competitions we won, we're not even able to play in this season? And my answer is, like, honestly, I think a progression this season would be retaining top four, ideally getting more points than we got last season, which was 69, which means I think, or I've been told at least, and I'll double check, that you have to win 9 out of the 14 remaining Premier League games in order to get 70 points or more. And we need a domestic cup as well. And if we're not getting a domestic cup, get me a Champions League. But that's going to be a little bit more challenging, I think, right? So a domestic cup would have been massive, and top four as well. I mean, what that would have shown to me is that we weren't lucky. Yeah, we can be a little bit more consistent. Because I think if you're winning trophies 2 years on the bounce, that's not luck. Yeah, the hardest thing they always say is climbing the mountain. I say the hardest thing is to stay at the top of the mountain. And that's because it's so difficult to keep winning all the time. And that's why you respect the sides like Man City and what Klopp built at Liverpool. But ultimately, I think Chelsea are in a position where, you know, we're sort of trying to learn about ourselves this year. We know what we want, but we've changed our manager, and we still have young players, a lot of whom haven't necessarily played together. We've got more stability than last year. It's very difficult to, it's a little bit challenging to understand exactly where we are right now. But that being said, like, I feel the same way about the owners as I did a month ago. That hasn't changed. So anyway, let's move on. I think Rio was taking us during the whole Roman Chelsea sale. It was done very sneakily. No, Bluco got caught sleeping. No, he left us later on. He left in September 2024. So it was very recent, actually, in the grand scheme of things. At the time, I don't think people were particularly happy about this move, because obviously we always want to promote youth players. We want to promote Cobham, and Chelsea obviously have a great record of producing young players as well. So no wonder you've got teams like Liverpool sniffing around to see if they can get a cheap deal. And they did. But for a 16-year-old, you can't deny it's probably a good deal in the grand scheme of things, bearing in mind he'd never played a minute of first-team football for us. So there was an element of risk to them as well, but it was such a low fee. Big up to Natalie as well. Hope you're doing well. Is Asugo still injured? Yes, he is, but he is recovering as it stands. He is doing his rehabilitation in London. And Chelsea and Sporting are in communication to find the best solution, but there's no rush for him to come back. This ownership really needs to get lost. It's exhausting having such liars and a lack of drive to win. As owners of this club, I hate them. Big up to you, Wave. Michael says, I think everyone can be accused of being inconsistent. I definitely see progress. Be positive. I mean, if we're being objective, and I'm trying to be more objective now than emotional, then I would say that we have improved because, well, we've already got further in the Carabao Cup than we did last season. It was disappointing that we couldn't get further. And it looks to me like we will get further in the FA Cup, especially with a win against Hull. And we're playing Champions League and we got through to the knockouts, which is, I would honestly say, the equivalent of winning the Conference League in itself in terms of the challenge. It's probably harder. So that is an improvement. European improvement, domestic cup improvement. And when we look at the league, I mean, sometimes the league can be a little bit strange because if we were in Champions League last season, this conversation wouldn't matter. But as it stands, we're fifth on 40 points, 1 point behind United, 6 points behind Villa, 7 points behind City. And we're 1 point ahead of Liverpool in sixth. Okay. Now, if we're comparing that to last season, then we're pretty similar. In all fairness, we are pretty similar. Another thing to pay attention to is, if we were in the Conference League this season and we had exactly the same players, the same squad, you think of the amount of rotation that we'd be able to do naturally and not even have to worry about losing games because we're playing against Lord knows who in this country that I've never heard of. And, you can get away with having a Dewsbury Hall instead of a Palmer. You can get away with having a Garnacho instead of an Esteval. You can play Delap instead of João Pedro, not really have to worry, or Hato instead of Cucurella. You understand the argument here. So this season we haven't had that luxury of being able to rotate. And we've dealt with that quite well in the grand scheme of things, considering actually we're not that far off Man City. So, I mean, we get carried away, don't we? We're very harsh at times, but that's because we feel like we need to strive for more. But just because we need to strive for more, then the question is, do we actually have enough right now to get where we need to go? And if you've got teams like Man City who have just bought Mark Gurhey and Semenyo, both of which start for Chelsea, hands down, both of which start for Man City as well. And these are two players, by the way, we probably could have got our hands on if we were a little bit more proactive. Well, we had a history with Semenyo, didn't we? We just didn't want to pay an extra 2 million or whatever it was for him, like years ago. Then maybe we'd be in a better position to compete. But I mean, I can't sit here and say that we're not competing. We are. We're just not competing for a title. Next season, providing we keep hold of our best players, we get rid of some deadwood, I can imagine there'll be more risky signings in terms of young profiles that go on loan to Strasbourg or just come straight into the fold, like maybe Jamie Gittins or Hato, like those type of profiles. I'm hoping that one of them sticks. I mean, we're making life a lot harder for ourselves. Again, it depends on how we do as well. Like if we've got more money to spend, I'd like to see that we take more risk. We've already offloaded 325 grand a week off of the books, terminating Sterling's deal. So you've got a little bit more to play with. Get the Sassy off the books, make profit on Tosin. Although I think there's a good chance we actually keep Tosin. I'm not fully against keeping Tosin either, by the way, because at least Tosin has leadership qualities which seem to be appreciated at Chelsea, like based on everyone that I've spoken to around the club. Like Willie Issa is one of them, and everything that comes out, all of the briefs. Tosin's part of that leadership group, isn't it? It's Tosin, Reece James. Who else is in the leadership group? Fuck knows. Enzo as well. You know, they're the main ones. And it looks like Sanchez is turning into a leader as well. Fair play to him. So the point being, there's going to be a number of players we can get rid of. And honestly, I should do a show just on that, because I know that there's players that a lot of people want to get rid of that I might not necessarily agree with. But yeah, I mean, if we're keeping a hold of Tosin for the experience, then Badiashile needs to go. I mean, Lavia needs to go at this point. I've had enough of him. He's just constantly injured. Mark Guiu probably needs to leave. And we'll see what happens with a player like Mudryk as well. Liam needs to be judged properly. His starting lineup is never good. You're absolutely correct in terms of the lineups, but we've been able to salvage ourselves, right? So we're saying the preparation isn't very good, but the in-game management has been superb. And that's where we can, yes, hopefully improve a little bit. That's fair. I mean, Arsenal, we started off poorly, had to improve. Against Brentford, we actually scored an early goal. We went 1-0 up with João Pedro in the first half, and then we finished the game with Palmer. But we were never really in control, full control of that game. Paphos, I mean, we got a late goal from Caicedo. I wouldn't say it was a poor start from us, though. I think we were constantly challenging Paphos in terms of creating chances. We just weren't able to capitalize on them. So I wouldn't say that. And I would say that we started pretty well against Crystal Palace as well. But at the same time, I remember Badiashile made a really, really bad mistake. We could have potentially been losing that game. Napoli, they dominated in the first half. West Ham, poor start. Arsenal, conservative. But that was always going to be the game plan. So I think if we're being honest, it's still not good enough. It's fine to have a conservative game plan if that's the plan, and carry that out, and that's what we did against Arsenal. That's why I haven't been overly critical of that game and that performance. I do find people have been a little bit harsh. It's like, well, the manager's given the players instructions. They've actually carried it out pretty well because we were still in the game. And then he goes into a situation where he's bringing on more attacking talent, and it still doesn't make a dent. Could have overlapped more, could have crossed more. Those are two things that could improve. But apart from that, the chances that we did have, or the chances we could have potentially created, like, we didn't do a great job of doing that. And maybe that's just because Arsenal are good defending as well. Who knows? We really needed that League Cup. It was against Arsenal. It was a domestic trophy. It would have united the team and the fans and brought a better feel to the club. What a shame. Well, I guess we have to hope that we can do it in the FA Cup. That's our hope now, isn't it? Tosin has to go. I'm not against it, but also if you ask me if it's between Tosin and Badiashile, I'm saying Badiashile, mate. Just because, what does the guy give you in the dressing room? So, if there's one thing I can say, hands down, Tosin's one of the best at, it's the dressing room. And the dressing room's important. Anyone who played football, has played team sport, knows it's important to have leaders in there. And if we're not going to sign older players, you at least keep the ones that you've got. I'm not saying play them regularly, but what I am saying is allow him to at least do his job off the pitch and make the manager's life a little bit easier in that sense. Having leaders takes pressure off of the manager, because they are the ones that can do the small jobs that the manager doesn't necessarily need to do. But if you've got no leaders, then the manager's putting his energy into small pointless situations that don't really, that you shouldn't be dealing with. The manager should be looking at the team, a number of individuals. Of course, you should be having conversations all the time. What can I do, Gaffer? How can I improve? Why am I not starting? All the rest of it. And we need to keep some leads. So I'm not sitting here saying play Tosin next season, but I'm not saying get rid of him either. Having said that, if we're going to keep Badiashile and you give me an offer of 20 million, I'm not going to turn that down either. If I see the transfer window similar to the last summer window, that I'm taking a break from watching Chelsea. I've liked the Sanchez progression. He's been better and more commanding, 100%. And I think Liam's actually learnt very quickly how to deal with Robert Sanchez. I mean, from the get-go, he has, well, from the first game, he wanted to pass out from the back with Sanchez, didn't he? And that didn't work up. That didn't work out very well. And he learned his lesson. He sort of went back down to what Maresca was doing. And I go, well done, mate. Well done. Because I think a lot of managers take a little bit longer than that. I mean, I remember when Maurizio Sarri, do you remember when Callum Hudson-Odoi and Ruben Loftus-Cheek were breaking into the side? We were playing Europa League games. That was the only games they could get minutes, really. And they were playing so well. And they both had to score, I think, hat-tricks. I think Hudson-Odoi scored a hat-trick in one game, and Ruben Loftus-Cheek scored a hat-trick in another game, or at least a double. And that was what forced them into the side, because it was so good that it was impossible for Sarri to ignore them. And when they both came into the side, they were fantastic as well. They were brilliant. So we've got a manager with Liam who's a little bit more flexible. I have nothing wrong with the Arsenal team lineup. We tried something different, and there was a definite game plan. It was very clear what we were trying to do, Michael. Definitely. Adam says they both need to go, and we need to buy quality, experienced centre backs, or next season will be the exact same as this shit we're watching right now. They both need to go. What are we talking about here? We're talking about Tosin and Badiashile. There's an argument for that as well. No problem. There's an argument for that. If your argument is experience, though, then we already have experience with Tosin. But you're saying quality experience, so then they would both go. Yeah, you're right there, Adam. I'm trying to find my lineup builder, but for some reason it's giving me. Yeah, it's giving me some strange website that I've never ever used. Aha, found it. Found the lineup builder. I love a good lineup. So also, guys, what are we thinking about formation going into this Wolves game as well? Bearing in mind against Arsenal, we totally change it up, 3 at the back as well. What are we thinking about the formation? Are we going 4-2-3-1, pretty standard? Are we going with... Are we going to go with 3 at the back? Like a 3-4-1-2 with the wing backs and 3 in midfield, 2 up top. I don't think we'll see that, to be fair. Four, 2-3-1 seems to be pretty standard. I will be training at Michael. I'll be going on the train to Wolves. I'll finish work and then I'm straight on the train. Next to Charlie Patrick. What a man. Who's better? Zoning, Sturridge, young Hudson-Odoi, or young Esteval? I'd say probably... It's a good question. Probably Esteval, the most talented, and then I'd give second place to Hudson-Odoi, and then Sturridge. I just feel like what Esteval's doing, the fact that he's already in such a young team and getting minutes and able to perform at the level he is, like, I know it's not easy to break into an experienced side either, but you've got other players that are doing their job really well, making life easier for you. And that's what Sturridge and Hudson-Odoi would have both had. Esteval doesn't have that luxury. In terms of injuries then, like, we don't really know everything about, who's going to be available. But we do know that he's still getting to know the squad. When asked about which position Palmer was going to play in, he said his best position is on the pitch. Let's get into it, shall we, guys? So, right, in goal, I think it's a pretty simple one. Robert Sanchez. Super easy. What are we doing at left back? Because we've got to remember as well, Cucurella played 90 minutes against Arsenal, and before that he was rested. Are we just going to play Cucurella again against Wolves and then look at it from the perspective of we'll rest him in the next one against Leeds? I don't think that you see Cucurella necessarily playing 9 minutes twice. Or you do, and then he gets rested for the whole game. And we've got a long break until we play Burnley anyway. What are we thinking, guys? I'm going to go with Cuckoo. We can always change it if we need to. Okay, and then in the middle, we've got our two centre-backs. We've got, well, here's our options. Disasi. Oh, sorry, not Disasi. Tossin. Badiashile. Fofana. Achimpong. Hato can also play as a centre-back. Mamadou Sarr as well is also back in the fold. Don't forget about him. Although I don't think he plays against Wolves. I think he might get some minutes against Hull. So what are we thinking about that one? I'm going to go with, again, Fofana's played 90 minutes. I don't think they're going to play him. So this is, for me, a predicted lineup, just to be clear. This is what I'm predicting. So I'm predicting Fofana won't play, if I'm totally honest. I'm predicting that Fofana won't play. So I'm going to put... Oh, and we got Chalobah as well, actually. I'm going to play Josh Achimpong. And I'm also going to play Chalobah. That's my centre-back duo there. Then I'm going to play Reece James on the right, get some balls in. He didn't play against Arsenal at all. And in the midfield, I'm going to go with... I'm trying to think. I quite like Santos to play, if I'm totally honest with you. I remember when players used to play full 90 minutes games and nobody would bat an eye. Yeah, man, it's a different world now. I mean, it's the truth is that the schedule is a lot worse, and the way that football is being played is more physical than it was. I'm not saying it's more physical in terms of the challenges or anything like that. It's clearly not, but it's more physical in terms of the amount of running that the players have to do. I'd like to find a way to squeeze Santos in there, if I'm totally honest. I mean, I'm just going to brainstorm a little bit here, so don't feel like this is the final piece of the puzzle. Okay, Sado. Palmer. And then it will be Garnacho. I just know it will. I'm trying to think if there's anything I'm going to change in there. I mean, obviously, João Pedro would be stronger. I'm not denying that. Neto is Neto. I don't even know if Neto's around. To be fair, I'm not even sure. Good to see Pierre. Like, we haven't had updates on Neto, so we don't actually know. I mean, they should be available, right? Should be available. So then, are we dropping Fernandez for a game? It's possible. You could certainly do that. So you can play Palmer in the middle, and then you can play Neto there. That's an option. But then again, like, you got to remember, guys, we're gonna have Leeds on Tuesday, and I think Leeds is going to be a harder game than Wolves. To be honest with you, I think Leeds is a winnable game as well. But against Leeds, based on who's starting here, I get the feeling that James, if he plays this game, doesn't play against Leeds. I get the feeling that Palmer, if he plays, doesn't play a full 90 minutes against Leeds. And I probably get the same feeling about Neto. I mean, they seem to have one rule for some players and another rule for others. Like, I'm glad they actually finally gave Neto a rest, to be honest with you, because the guy was being run into the ground. The same with Cucurella at one point. It's like, Jesus. But I mean, if your body can handle it, your body can handle it, right? I bet you're sick of the Waka Waka song. Why? Because of Kai Havertz. I actually love Shakira, and that's ruined it for me. So, yeah, screw Kai Havertz, man. And people keep saying that I'd take Kai Havertz back. I would absolutely not take Kai Havertz back. I would rather have Liam Delap in my squad than Kai Havertz. Despise him. He was rubbish for us. He was terrible. He was terrible. He was shocking. Shocking footballer. Yeah, he was just crap. Absolutely crap. So what changes are we making? I mean, if we're making it full strength, obviously you're going to have João Pedro in there. You're probably going to find a way to squeeze Enzo in there as well. And I would argue that in this particular game against Wolves, Enzo in the middle would be better than having Neto on the right. And then you might have Esteban on the left. But again, I'm thinking about Leeds and I'm going, okay, Palmer plays potentially a full 90 minutes here and then Steve on the right the next game. I mean, if I'm really trying to be aggressive, then I could put Steve there, rest Enzo Fernandez, potentially play Santos in the middle, but I don't think that would happen. I think that if we played with our strongest three here was João Pedro, Palmer, and Esteval, then you would have Fernandez in there as well, like so. I mean, that's what I think the manager would do. But yeah, I'm gonna stick with what I said before. I'm gonna have Santos in there. I'm gonna have Fernandez in the 10, Palmer on the right, Garnacho on the left. I mean, how many games does João Pedro need a rest? Fuck knows. Who knows, man, honestly. How many games has he played consistently, João Pedro? Let's double check. The guy's in good form. I'm a big fan of leaning on a player who's in good form. I guess the question again is, would you rather play João Pedro for the majority of the game against Wolves or Leeds? And I think we're going to need him more against Leeds. I think you can get away with the lap against Wolves. So I'm going to lap. And then we're playing João Pedro against Leeds. We're playing Estevão against Leeds. We'll probably play Gusto against Leeds as well. Maybe James comes off the bench. If we're feeling tasty, then maybe we get more minutes out of James in that game, and then you drop him entirely for Hull, and you got a nice break after that. Yeah. Maybe Hatto on the left-hand side. I mean, if you're trying to be picky, but I think Cucurella will get away with it. Love the spinning football when you hit the like. See for yourselves by hitting the like button. I didn't even know it did that. Smash the like button. Big up to all of you. Really appreciate everyone's support. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. It makes a massive difference. And check out okjersey.com using the code CFTV for 8% off of everything. It's already cheap. We just made it cheaper. And if you have friends, families, or anyone like that, might not be a Chelsea fan, you can get other things on there as well. They have just started stocking everything for the World Cup as well. So if you want your England shirts or whatever country you're from, you can get your World Cup shirts on okjersey.com as well. Just remember, use that discount code and then you can get it even cheaper. So yeah, this is my lineup, guys. I'm gonna stick with this, to be honest with you. This is, I mean, I could have done pretty much any lineup and it would have been good enough to beat Wolves. The only change that I'm a little bit disappointed I can't make is I'm disappointed that I can't put Gittins in there because he's obviously pulled his hamstring. He's got a tear or something like that. I would have had Gittins on the left. That would have been pretty simple for me. I would have had Gittins on the left. And yeah, that would have been nice. Because I think Gittins had one of his better games against Wolves in the League Cup. He was given a lot of space on the ball, like they weren't really pressing hard Wolves, but it was good for him to get like a little bit of confidence. And obviously he scored a great goal as well there at the Molineux. I feel like this would have been a great game for Gittins. This would have been a great month for him. This is the month of rotation. I know every month is the month of rotation, but this is literally the month of rotation. I mean, if I'm looking at February right now, I'm licking my lips, guys. I'm licking my lips. Wolves away, piss. Leeds at home, very winnable game. Hull away, come on. And Burnley at home. It doesn't get better than this, guys. It doesn't get better than this with essentially guaranteed results. I don't want to jinx it, but are you looking at any of these games and going, unless you're Nina and you're more scared of Burnley than you are of Arsenal, then, they're all winnable games, guys. They're all very winnable games. So I'm looking at this now and I'm going, this is an easy 9 points in the Prem, and we are 100% going to have to beat Hull. I mean, if we lose to Hull, it's a disaster. Disaster. My thing is all about improving, guys. This is a guarantee. This should be a guaranteed 9 points. And then you look at the league table and you go, okay, well, how far are we off of the pace here? You give me 9 points. You put me on 49 points next. Okay, then we go into the month of March. And it gets a little bit more difficult. I'm not going to lie to you. But if we're comparing our counterparts, do we think that Liverpool are going to win all 3 games? Do we think that United are going to win all 3 games? Are Villa going to win all 3 games? I think they're all going to drop points. So you've got points gained straight away. You're in front of United. You're clearing past Liverpool. You're touching distance of Aston Villa and Man City, hopefully. And that puts us in a great position for March. And March is a tough month. This is the month where I make my decision on how I really feel about Liam Rosenior, if I'm totally honest with you. Arsenal away again. Villa away. Newcastle at home. Everton away. This is a tough month. So I'm telling you right now, we get 9 points from here. This is not delusional. This is just, it's not even the minimum. It's less than the minimum. Okay. If we then do well in March, I'm backing Liam. I am backing this guy because this is a really, really tough period. I think Newcastle at home, we've got it. We generally do pretty well at home against Newcastle. Everton away is going to be difficult, but they don't have Grealish. They've got Tyreek George now. Decent side, but winnable game, in my opinion. It's the first two that are going to be really, really difficult. But I think if we're able to pick up 9 points in March, then that would be fantastic. If we're getting 12, then fair play. Like, I know that we say this should be the standard, the bare minimum, all the rest of it. And absolutely, February should be that because we're against relegation sides and championship sides. But yeah, you can't deny this is a hard run. I think that we can show a little bit of character in this game. But Rosinia's style of manager seems to be a style that really works against, or will work, let me say that, very well against teams that want to sit back against us, for the reason that if we're going to give players that little bit of freedom, I don't mind that, because when you're against a low block, what do you want to see? You want to see someone drive. You want to see someone shoot from distance. You want to see a good link up. You want to see a bit of fluidity, like risky passes, whipping balls in, getting in the box. And these are all things that I feel like Maresca held back a little bit with his system. I mean, don't get me wrong, we had days where it was great. But the point being that individualism is going to carry us through against these sides that sit back. And the structure will only help so much. In the bigger games, I'm looking for a little bit more structure. That's why I'm, again, not as angry about the Arsenal result in terms of the way we approached the game. I think it was pretty logical. I think it was quite smart, to be honest with you. I just don't think it worked out. But we can't be, we can't be playing as individuals against Villa away, against Arsenal away, against Everton away, even Newcastle at home. Like, we need to have a clear game plan. Understand, right, is the fullback inverting, or is he overlapping, or is he doing both? Everybody needs to understand what's going on around them. Who's pressing first, Enzo or Caicedo? Like, how are we winning the ball up the pitch? All these small things that make a difference. Even the build-up. How are we going to utilize Sanchez with those long chip balls, which I think he actually does a really good job at? Or are we just going to pass out and invite pressure? If we look at Wolves as well, they've got a couple of new signings that they made on deadline day. They've completed the signing of Adam Armstrong from Southampton. So he's just come to Wolves now. He scored 11 goals in the Championship for Southampton, the joint third highest in the division. He signed a 3.5-year contract at Wolves. They've also signed Angel Gomez on loan for the remainder of the season. 25 years old. He's got a deal which includes an option to buy, and he makes his return to the Premier League on the back of a short spell with Marseille, who he played for 20 times, scoring on 4 occasions. I always thought that Gomez was going to do a little bit more because he actually had a few caps for England, but still not really broken through at the top level. So yes, if we're looking at what's going on with Wolves, those are 2 new additions that I actually think will really benefit them. I mean, they're getting straight in the first team. And the one thing I saw when we went there before, I mean, you can just tell anyway, Wolves lack quality. I mean, they lack quality in every single sense. They just lack so much quality. This is going to be an absolute... It's going to be a more difficult game than I think the first time. That being said, we won 4-3, but we invited that pressure on ourselves. We were just idiots. If we know how to manage a game properly, and again, like looking at the lineup that we built, this is with Reece James, Chalobah, Achimpong, Cucurella, Santos, and Caicedo in front of them. Sanchez in goal as well, which is different to when Jorgensen was there. Like, we got a lot more defensive stability. In the first game, we were pathetic, if we're being totally honest. In fact, let me find the lineup. So yeah, the lineup at that time, we played Jorgensen, Gusto, Hato, Santos, Achimpong, Tosin, Estevao, Lavia, George, Buenanotte, Gittins. So the only players that were involved the last time we played against Wolves that are going to be involved this time, in my opinion, is Santos, Achimpong. That's it in terms of starters. Presumably Estevao is going to feature maybe off the bench. Delap came on as a sub. I think he'll start. Caicedo also came on as a sub. Cucurella came on as a sub. So, yeah, we've got a lot to be confident about, guys. And I have one eye on the Leeds game going into this, which is why I haven't gone full strength. But I mean, it's still pretty strong. We've got Palmer, we've got Enzo, strong midfield, pretty competent defense, just missing Fofana, but he'll play against Leeds in that case. And Garnacho has to play, unfortunately, because I just think he's the best option for that game. I mean, there's also a part of me that's thinking, right, how's the best way for Liam to manage Garnacho? What's the best approach here? He can do a number of things. He can continue to play him and show, listen, I've got faith in you. You are a top player. I'm confident in your ability. All the rest of it, like, you're going to smash it. And that can pay dividends, right? He might have a period where he's in really good form. He regains his confidence, and he starts to score goals, get assists, or just be better in general, especially defensively as well. It's another thing we need to improve with Garnacho. The other side is what I think, to be fair, he's kind of been quite good at, Rossinha, since he's come in, which is playing players based on whether they deserve to play. And if that's the case, then Garnacho shouldn't feature. Having said that, Net has also been pretty poor. So, at least in recent games, he's been poor. So, can't really say much, but Garnacho did have a good chance and really fucked it up against West Ham. He was shocking. Poor defensively recently. That's an area that's really concerning, actually. I don't know. I don't know if we need more coaching in that aspect, but that to me seems like an individual issue. Like, you're a player, you know what's going on around you. Be proactive. Get a move on. Like, I'm not here to wait for you. If you don't know exactly what to do, then just do the basics. And if the manager doesn't like it, he's going to tell you after. Yeah. If there's a player making a run, you should probably follow that player if he is yours, especially if your left back is already occupied. I guess the other side is just literally chopping him in and out of the lineup, kind of not really having any clarity as to whether he's going to start the game and just giving him opportunities here and there. But I don't think that's the best way to develop anyone. Yeah, it's difficult. I mean, Garnacho tends to be quite good off the bench. Maybe we're going to try and utilize that again, starting that on the left and maybe rotating him after 60 minutes or something like that for Garnacho. My score prediction is going to be... What's my score prediction? Let me see Wolves' recent run of form as well. Have they been keeping clean sheets recently? I know the new manager, Rob Edwards, has actually done an okay job. Where's the matches? Matches. results. Okay, so they have picked up a little bit of form compared to where they were. They beat West Ham 3-0, drew 1-1 against Everton, beat Shrewsbury Town 6-1, 0-0 against Newcastle, 2-0 loss against City, 2-0 loss against Bournemouth. Okay. I'm going to say 2-1 Chelsea. 2-1. I don't think we keep a clean sheet. I think we score first. And I honestly wouldn't be, big tips, I wouldn't even be surprised if Garnacho got some GA in this game. It really wouldn't surprise me. It's like when you've given up on someone, like especially him, when you've given up on him, then he seems to pop up and you're like, oh, fair enough. Well done, mate. So yeah, I can see Garnacho getting involved. I can see Palmer getting involved. Yeah, those are the two players I can see getting involved for sure. Anyway, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this live video. Just going through all the latest news, previewing the Wolves game as well. Smash the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. And I will see you tomorrow, guys. I'll be doing the matchday vlog, obviously. And then we'll be doing fan cams outside the Molineux. Really appreciate everyone's time. We'll catch up soon. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. And up the Chelsea.